Well, hello there, Skywinders. Welcome back to another episode of Skywind 007. On today's episode, I want to address the issue of whether you should choose a top-loading washer. This is a clothes washer, or a side-loading washer. So straight away, I can tell you, never, ever, ever get a side-loading washer. Never. There is one exception to that rule, and I'm going to talk about it later. But the remaining 99% of the time, this is a horrible idea, and this is a big mistake I made 2 years ago of getting this type of washer. And let's talk about why I said that. And the main reason is it does not do a good job at washing. It doesn't matter what kind of brand you get. This is a Samsung. It's supposed to be one of the best brands. And it's a very high quality craftsmanship. So everything's good about it. But the design is inherently flawed. And the main reason is this right here. When you have a side loading washer, you put the clothes in there. And then you close this. And there is no way that this washer can actually soak the entire clothing, because you can pile up clothes even to halfway and then close it, but there is no way that this door can hold water up to any level. The water level will always be up to that level right here. I've seen it. It never gets past this point. If it were to get past, if it were to get to this point, it would just leak, because this is not a submarine door. They would have to make it like a submarine door or like a spacecraft door. But that will have to be made of metal, not plastic. And this is mostly plastic, as you can see. It does have a gasket to prevent a little bit of leak, but it's just not a submarine door. So the end result is that this is going to be spinning, and the clothes is going to be spinning with it, and it's going to be spraying water onto the clothes. So what you have, and I noticed this from the very first day that I bought it, is that you have clothes that is simply not being cleaned. I actually stank. I would go to work and I would stink. My clothing was stinking. That was the problem. So I never gave it any thought. I did my research. A lot of people claim that the side loading washers were better than the top loading type, but it didn't turn out that way. And now it's obvious. Now that I actually have this garbage, the clothes is just spinning around and it's getting sprayed. I don't even know where the water comes out from, but all it does is spray the clothes with water and soap. And then we have the second problem. Once it's been sprayed and kind of washed, there's no soaking. Remember, this is a side loading washer, so there's no way to soak the clothes. It has to be just damp and sprayed on. Here comes problem number 2. It cannot soak the water. It cannot soak the clothes again to get rid of the soap, the detergent. So what you have is a dirty cloth that has a little bit of detergent left on it when you put it on. So it's just a disastrous situation. You put it in your closet and it makes your closet, you have all that detergent stench. Detergent plus the unclean clothes. So it's a disaster. I do not understand why this still exists. And there's a third problem. The reason why I'm getting rid of it is because there's a clog. It's not evacuating the water anymore. And once that happens, this door will not open. It'll fill up to this point, but this door locks and it will not open. As you can see right now, it's locked. So even if you unplug it, here's the plug. It's locked. and that's because there's water in there, and it will not unlock until you get rid of that water. So the clothing is trapped in there. So once the water doesn't evacuate from there, it will detect that there's water that's not evacuating, so the door will remain locked like such. And now you have a faulty washer, and you have your clothes trapped in there. You can't get it out. So you go to the manual, and the manual will tell you to come in here and pull this out. Pull this out, remove the plug, and then drain it with a dish over here. It takes about 30 minutes, like half an hour, to drain that little bit of water because it doesn't flow very fast. After you're done with that, you can replug the machine, and then it'll unlock. But that's the issue. Having a machine that doesn't work and having all your clothes locked in there where you can't get it out. Now, I know how to do this. I have the manual, and I'm a little bit of an avid person. I can do this, but I know there's a lot of 78-year-old grandmas that can't even bend this low, and they certainly can't do this. They wouldn't know how to do this. They probably don't have the manual anymore. They threw it away. So they'll have all their clothes in there trapped in a machine that doesn't work. So that's a bit of a nightmare scenario. It's one thing to have a machine that doesn't work, but it's something else to have a machine that has all your clothes in there trapped because the water doesn't go out, and the machine will automatically not unlock until you get rid of that water. The third problem with this kind of washer is that you have to bend. When you're putting clothes in there or taking them out, you either have to bend, or you simply have to go down like this and bend your knees and then get the clothes out. So I can do this. I'm still healthy enough to do this. I'm not terribly old, but I cannot imagine somebody in their late 60s, early 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever. I cannot imagine them doing this. Even bending might be too much for them. Certainly kind of reaching for a sock in here for a person in their 70s is a lot. And it's all dark. There's no light. There happens to be a window here, so that's why you can see a little bit. But in your area, wherever you're going to put this, there might not be a window like this. There will only be the top light. So there might be a black sock or something there. You're going to have difficulty seeing it. Like I said, this is it's not like the dryer that has its own light. This does not have any light. And because it's sideways, it's not getting any light from the top. So those are the huge issues. They're not little issues, they're huge. Another thing you need to know about the side loading washer is that if you have a baby or pets, they can, especially if you have young kids like 1 or 2 year olds, they can play hide and seek. I'm sorry, and you'll have one kid go in there, and then the other kid comes here and locks this like that, and they might try to even be funny and then turn on the cycle with a kid in there. Remember, a baby, a 2-year-old, 1-year-old child. That's horrible. It might be a long time by the time you discover that there's a baby spinning in there, and the baby will probably be dead by then. So that's another issue with the side loading machines. Could be a baby, could be a toddler, a young child, even I think a 5-year-old would fit in here. And it could be a pet. You could have a child bring a cat, throw the cat in there, close the door, and then try to be funny and start this. And then by the time you find out that the cat is missing and that the cat is in there, It'll probably either be dead or drowned or I don't know what. But it'll be negligence on your part for letting a cat get thrown in there by your children. So if you have little children, don't get this at all. It is a matter of life or death. So now we got, I think that's the fourth issue or the fifth issue, that it won't wash your clothes correctly. It won't clear the detergent. It's hard to reach in here. There's no light. It's dangerous if you have children or pets. Another thing, let's do number 6. The door. The instructions say that once you're done with this, you have to leave the door open. You can't close it because the gasket is gonna get mold. So you do not want to close the door, so because this is gonna get mold. It's not like the top loading machines that, because they're not airtight. This is airtight. The top loading machines can vent better. So that's another issue. Another issue would be the door, the way, I think that's number 6. Let's go for number 7. The door opens in this direction only. So you can't swap doors, not that I know of. No, you cannot swap the doors. It's not like the dryer where you can swap the doors. So if you are coming, I happen to be coming from this direction, most of the doors in that direction. But if your door were to be in that direction, then you have this like this, then you'll have the door getting in the way, and then you'll have your laundry basket over here. It's gonna be awkward and a problem. It's better if you have the door on the top. So that's the other problem. And that was I believe number 7. And number 8 would be that it has that lock in the first place. And the lock is there for a reason, so you don't open it when there's water in there, so that makes sense. But if that lock were to fail for any other reason other than there being water, so right now the computer, the machine will lock the door because there's water left in there, because it's not evacuating. Right now I evacuated with a little cup. It took me 30 minutes, so it's not working, and that's why the door gets locked. But let's say that lock fails. Once the lock fails, you cannot take the clothes out. For whatever reason that lock mechanism fails, your clothes is trapped in there. Another issue, I guess number 8 or 9, is if there's a power failure, the door will not unlock. Once there's a power failure, you could have a power failure for 3 days in my area when there's a hurricane or we have a natural disaster. So you're gonna have that clothes, all your best clothes in there locked. You can't get it out. Because let me show you again. Even when the machine is powered down, you cannot open that door. It's locked. So even if you unplug it, here's the plug. It's locked. So it's it's kind of like a smart washer. It does whatever it wants to do and you cannot trick it. So that's another issue. I think that was number 8 or 9. So you have a power failure. You got clothes in there. It's going to be locked in there. You cannot get it out. So those are the main issues. I don't know if I can think of anything else. So those are the bad parts about it. There is one good thing I can think of. And if you live in New York or one of those cities where a bunch of skyscrapers and there's no homes, so you might be limited in space, you can stack this. You can stack the dryer on top of the, presumably that's the idea. But in reality, I don't think you could do that very well, because if you look at my dryer, if you were to stack this dryer over here, then those controllers will be way up the top. So you wouldn't be able to reach them unless you had a ladder. So I can still deal with that. I think I'm okay. If I needed a dryer and a washer and I had a little apartment in New York, I'd be willing to buy a ladder to just get up there and control the dryer. So it's acceptable, but it's not ideal. So that's the one good thing that you have with this kind of side loading dryer. So that's 9 to 1. 9 bad things, 1 good thing. So and then it would be if you have basically if you were going to put this in a tiny little closet like laundry place. That's the situation where this would be a good thing. But like I said, 99% of the time, it's a bad thing to have this kind of washer. So please, please, please do not buy a side loading washer for all the reasons that I just gave you. Not only does it not do a good job of washing, it doesn't get rid of the detergent. It's hard to reach in there. There's no light in there. You can't see a black sock in there. It's dangerous. Children and pets can get in there, can be locked in there, and can be killed in there. So that's it for today. I think I made a good point. I wish somebody would have made a video like this when I went to buy this. I did my research. I checked all the YouTube videos. All the people that were making videos claimed that this was better than the top loading washer. I used to have a top loading washer, so I can make the comparison. I had it for years. It actually lasted longer than this one. And I was misled by those false reviews. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and thumbs up.